I'm joined by the Publicity Secretary for the National Association of Democratic Lawyers, Nokukhanya Jele. Thank you very much for coming in, Nokukhanya. Now, the President has already spoken about the kind of contribution, the loss of wisdom that comes with the death of this very well-respected man. But coupled with his humility, it certainly made for quite an exceptional human being, didn't it?
I think exceptional human being would be an understatement when it comes to Pius Langa. And when it comes to the members of the legal fraternity, there is much deeper personal loss, I think, in addition to the loss of the kind of man that the President described.
Why is that? Just as an insider who interacted with him closely, just give us a more intimate picture of the kind of man the country has lost today.
Well, for starters, he was a very warm and very funny man, so he was a pleasure to be around. He was an inspiration as well, one of those individuals that is a rock, that is principled, that constantly sticks by their principles, and that is happy to teach and share his knowledge with all around him. He treated absolutely everybody that was around him with the utmost respect and appreciation, and he imparted and shared whatever he could, whether it was warmth, a piece of cake, or knowledge. That's the kind of man he was.
And in terms of his contribution to human rights in the country, I mean, how would you describe that?
Well, he certainly had a long career of defending political prisoners, defending the poor in his capacity as a practicing advocate. He also worked arduously to create the National Association of Democratic Lawyers, which then became an organization that pushed for human rights, for less abuse of political prisoners, for proper representation of individuals in court cases, and specifically also participated in the formulation of our Constitution. His ability to contribute without being imposing, his ability to ensure that the end result was the more important aspect rather than any self-aggrandizing opportunities, was also in and of itself a contribution, because he wrapped his work in the spirit of the result he was hoping to achieve.
And of course that contribution became quite important after his retirement, when the country was looking at press freedom.
Absolutely. Pius Langa never stopped contributing. Pius Langa never stopped considering himself a son of South Africa and somebody who had an obligation to give back, give generally, and help, guide, advise. And he did so at a very high level. He did so at international levels. He worked, for example, with regards to formulation of ethical rules for judges that are applicable internationally. But he would also be the guy that you as a young lawyer could call and say, "I'm having a tough one on this case, uncle. Can you give me a few pointers?" So he literally was that public man, and he continued his work absolutely after his retirement in 2009.
He was a founding member of your association and a president of the organization. Well, what sort of legacy has he left behind? Is it still being felt?
Oh goodness, yes, but I don't think I'd be able to encapsulate it or give it justice in the matter of moments, quite frankly. I was scanning through the messages of a great deal of comrades from Nadel as I was driving over here, and the general sentiment was he was a mentor. He was somebody who was an example to emulate. He was somebody who respected and appreciated everybody's opinion, and taught us to stand our ground where an issue of principle was at stake. He was also a man who embraced consensus, discussion, exchanges were of value to him. And those, I would say, are but a fragment of what he has left us with, and what we certainly hope to emulate now that he's left us.
News that moves. eNCA.com.